It's really good practice to start a few ground rules with using Zoom. And you can do that in a very similar way to how you might do that in a face-to-face class. So ask the learners themselves what kind of rules you think they should have. And you can show them a few little tricks that might actually help as well. So, for example, right now you are seeing a meeting in a speaker view. But I would recommend a really nice way to see a class and to see colleagues as well is by using gallery view. So if you pop your cursor up to the top here where the 9 little boxes are, then it allows you to see everyone. So if you imagine you've got a whole class there, you've got 10, 20 folks, it's really nice to see everybody's faces rather than just one person, and that person on speaker view might also feel a little bit anxious about being in speaker view and being on everyone's screens. So it's quite nice to view everything in this gallery view so you can see everybody, especially when you can't be face to face with people. It's really nice to see people's faces. So that also joins on with the idea of should you have cameras on or should you have cameras off? That is a discussion again to have with your learners. A few things to bear in mind there to do with data, to do with Wi-Fi, things like that. So if your learner is having issues with Wi-Fi, the first thing you should ask them to do is get rid of their camera so that they can access the Zoom a lot better, and that will hopefully help stabilize their internet connection by not having their camera on. However, as I just said, it is quite nice to see everybody and to see people's faces. We read communication in lots of ways, and one of the ways is through our body language and the way that we use our face and things like that, just nodding and agreeing like that. You might want to ask people to use reactions, for example, and they can use those reactions down the bottom like that. That's a clap or a thumbs up. If you click on there, and then it pops up there, which is really nice. But you also might actually ask your learners to just do a thumbs up in real life. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't have to use these fancy tools if we don't want to. It's actually quite nice to get a bit of movement and get a bit of engagement in that way too. Another thing you might like to point out is to do with muting. So it's good practice to have to mute yourself when you're not talking, or when other people are talking as well, so that there's no feedback, so that there's no other environment noise, and also for safeguarding reasons and things like that. So that's a good thing to point out. And if they've got their phone on and we can hear the ringing, that kind of thing. Yeah, so it's always good to you can show your learners all these different things that they can do, the gallery view, muting, their reactions, things like that. But negotiate with them what they would like to do in their class and how they feel comfortable. Negotiate, for example, turn taking. How are you going to do that? Are you going to ask them to put their hand up like this? Are you going to ask them to pop things in chat? Maybe they'll put a thumb up in the reactions, or there's another option as well. If you click on participants at the bottom, you can see these options here: yes, no, go faster, slower, and then all of these things here, needing a break, etc. But those things really do need to be negotiated, because I found that because they come up on the participants list, so if I was to tick that there, it comes up on the participants list. You see, it's not coming up on my screen anywhere else, it's just on the participants list. So if they're going to use that, then you as a teacher need to know that that's how they're communicating with you. As we said previously, it is really good to be able to see our colleagues and to see our friends on camera, but we shouldn't be pushy with that. If people don't feel comfortable, then that's understandable. And if they also have connection issues, then that could be a reason why they don't have a camera on. One thing that might help them is by using a virtual background. Particularly that is good for safeguarding considerations with learners who are now may have to learn from home. So a virtual background basically disguise and get rid of everything that was in the background. So the way that they do that is by popping down to the bottom where it says stop video and click the little arrow, and then you can choose a virtual background. Okay, as you see, I've just popped my purple green screen in the back there, and the reason why is because I have a lot of stuff in the back, and if I hadn't done that, then it makes a virtual background a little bit difficult. I'm going to show you. So if I click on this one here, there we go. Okay, but because my dress is purple, my dress has gone purple as well as the background. So I'm going to go out of that, and now I'm going to remove this background. Okay, so as you would see, because of the stuff that's in the background, it doesn't all go change. The virtual background doesn't all change. If I go on to, I'm going to go back on again, and I'm going to show you that you can actually pick what colour it should be looking for. So if you've got a background and you want it to actually detect this colour, there you go. So now it's detecting, oh, it looks a bit spooky actually, because it's detected my my eyes as well. Okay, but as you see, it starts to do a little bit, but just not enough. It can be quite distracting actually if someone's presenting and they've got something that's moving in the background. I'm going to stop that now. There we go. All right, but it is a neat trick. Bear in mind that, as I said before, if people have connection issues, then video should be the first thing to go. If someone's using a virtual background and they start going jittery, get rid of that virtual background. That'll be what's causing the streaming issues. So get rid of that virtual background. Again, if they have an issue after that, get rid of the camera, and hopefully things should be okay. If there are issues after that, then there is an option for learners or colleagues to dial in.